All right, guys, we are live. Welcome back here to the Crypto Breakfast Club. We're live on YouTube, live on X, live on all platforms, live here on Rumble as well. Decided to just go live with everything today, right on cue here at 9:30. This is when we do our show anyway. But huge day here today. Korea Blockchain Week is starting up today, so expecting to see some big news come out of the event today. That's going to roll right into Token 2049 as well, which always brings some fireworks. The market is pulling back a little bit, but we do have some major runners to kind of address and talk about, guys. In the video, Aster continues to go on a parabolic run here. It is by far the dominant player here in the market. So we're getting a bunch of people joining us here on YouTube live, a bunch of people joining us on X Live. We are live on the Crypto Breakfast Club space. If you guys are live on spaces, help share the room. If you guys are out there on YouTube, X, etc., Rumble, definitely share the stream. And good morning to everybody. We'll take a look here and see what's going on at market open. Let's go ahead and start at the top. Bitcoin is sitting here at 113 right now, kind of hanging in the balance, pretty flat here to start the day. Fear and greed has dialed back to 40, which I like. This is kind of a nice zone, I think, to accumulate some of your top plays and some of your top assets. Altcoin season, 67 out of 100 right now. So we do have some top gainers to talk about. Aster is back up to 192. We talked about it yesterday on the space after it got up to 195. It was actually around 130, 135 on the space yesterday. This continues to be the talk of the town, guys. And if you're not paying attention to Aster, you need to be right now, because this thing is captured the mind share. It is becoming a massive player, and it's not just hype, right? And no pun intended here, because the main competitor is Hyperliquid, but it's not just hype. It's backed by volume. It's backed by real adoption that's happening on the DEX side of things with Aster. Massive trades coming in over there. So Aster's been one that we decided to ape in here at 60 cents. We jumped in at 60 cents, and it was an easy decision for me after looking at a few things. The fact that CZ was behind it. Obviously, the timing of this is perfect before Q4, and this is why you always have to be nimble, right, in the crypto markets. You always got to be ready to change, ready to adapt, ready to kind of change the playbook, because you just never know exactly how things are going to shake out. You never know exactly, what's the next big thing going to be. This is why we stress you got to have cash on the sidelines, always. But what this DEX is doing, if you're wondering, it's for high leverage, multi-chain, spot and perp combos. Now, one thing that CZ has talked about publicly, and a lot of people have talked about publicly, what makes this thing unique is that it has hidden orders. And it's a super private DEX as well. They've got anti-front running features that definitely are attracting more serious professional traders. And if you look at how big Hyperliquid got in a short amount of time, and then you look at Aster and who this is backed by, YZI Labs, which is the backing for Binance, guys. And then you've got probably the biggest crypto influencer in the entire world right now in CZ backing it as well, which is, it's kind of crazy. So hold on, I'm getting some audio. That should help a little bit, guys. On the YouTube side and on the X side, let me know if that mic is a little bit louder for you guys. That should pick things up a little bit. So let me know on that end if you guys can. I'm getting a bunch of comments coming in. Good morning, everybody. I see a bunch of people rolling in. Guys, come on up and join me on Spaces here. Let's see, we've got one request. We're going to have some great conversations today. A lot of things happening. But Aster has been backed by credible names. We mentioned YZI Labs and CZ. This is giving the project super legitimacy and likely better access to liquidity and partnerships as well, right? Big airdrops, community incentives are helping user acquisition. And if it gets listed by Binance in the spot market, which it's not yet listed there, that would also expand exposure. There's rumors that we could be listed by October 1st. And again, I just go back to the timing of this. This has been a slow rollout of Aster, and they strategically, I think, launched this at this time. in order to get it out ahead of what could be the big run, right? The big move here for crypto. So we do have some other movers. I definitely want to break down Aster and continue to follow it. It's again capturing all the mind share. It's up 23% today, guys. Up 2,200% in the last 7. Let me repeat that. Up 2,200% in the last 7 days. It is sitting at a $3.2 billion market cap. Dare I say it's still undervalued? Look where Hyperliquid is at 16 billion right now. I think Aster has the opportunity to be a top 10 crypto, guys. And for sure in the top 15. There's a big jump from Hyperliquid to Cardano. And I'll respect that. I mean, that's a double up from Hyperliquid to Cardano from number 11 to 10. But to say that this thing won't be in the top 15, I beg to differ at this point. I just think this is going to continue. This is not one of those liquidity event tokens that comes in and captures a little bit of attention and then dumps down. Because of their business model and how they've set this up, as long as there's volume rolling through Aster, which there is, this is how they're spinning off capital, right? And so if you look at a couple of things I posted on my timeline and maybe retweeted or whatever, just 2 hours ago, number 1 in perp dex trading volume during the past 24 hours with over $11 billion coming through Aster. And that's daily perp trading volume. This is just not a fade, guys, in my opinion. And I recognize, I'm saying this because I aped it at 60 cents, but I still think that there is room for this thing to really go. And I want to get other people's opinions, get some thoughts, and get some conversation rolling here. But guys, share the space if you haven't. All right, share the room, drop some comments down there. If you guys are listening on the live streams, let me know in the comments section what you guys think. I'll try to integrate some of the comments there and help share the room, etc. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. But Saga, you're up here, man. What's going on? Good morning to you. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Zach. Good morning, everybody. I'm pretty fired up about ZVCN this morning. They're up 20% almost today. Volumes looks pretty good. They just announced another partnership too this morning. Like, I can't even keep up with all their partnerships. All Unity now and Zabak have a partnership to stream real-time payroll services. So I wish I had got into Aster with you. I dispersed my dry powder into Pengu on that dip the other night. Almost got liquidated on a Sol long last night again. I was shaking in my boots a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm excited for what's coming in the coming months for sure.
Well, I love it, man. I mean, you're in a good play here too. ZBCN looks really good. I'm pulling it up on screen here. Great volume coming in here. It's right outside the top 100 right now. It's in that 101 to 200 bucket, which I like looking in there, right? I mean, there's quite a few in there that I still like. I recently told my inner circle members, which is my private community now, kind of shifting away from Patreon over to the inner circle. There's a link down below in the description if you guys are interested in checking it out for less than $1 a day. But I opened up a position not too long ago in Axelar as well. That's another one in that 101 to 200 bucket that I really like. But ZBCN looks really good. Rank 137, up 19% today. So shout out to you for getting on that play early. And it's definitely captured the mind share and stayed relevant here too, which, it's hard to do. It's easy to capture the mind share for a little bit. And then most of the time we see these sort of things just kind of fade away. And then, people forget about it. But ZBCN still obviously comfortably in that top 200. And Bio Protocol's another call that we had right here on our space. They're ranked 183. They're back down below 15 cents right now. I think that's an interesting position to open maybe if you're looking at a play that is a leader in their sector, in the decentralized science sector. So I like that one as well. So yeah, man. I mean, I love going and hunting into this 101 to 200 range. Plume has been another one in the RWA space that I've really liked, and you've got some meme coins we like in this range as well. Toshi and Brett are in this category. You got Deep Book Protocol over on SWE, which I still really like. Walrus is over here as well. So yeah, lot of good plays here from 101 to 200 that I think, are definitely worth an investigation, especially ahead of what we hope is coming in Q4. But there's no doubt, man. Aster has taken this space by storm, and again, you got to be ready to pivot in this market. That is the key, guys. So many people get locked into one thing, and what happens is you miss out on opportunities. Ask the best traders out there. They're never locked in on one thing. They've got a pulse on everything, right? And I think that's the key, even in the crypto space. You've got to be paying attention and seeing what's happening around you at all times. And so this one continues to dominate. We'll see if they set some new all-time highs here. Let's go back to the top 100 here. Let's see. All right, there we go. Aster right now sitting at 192, up 25% today. And that continues to be the leader here. We'll see if they cross over. I think they've got to get to 197. Yeah, 197 is their all-time high, set 2 days ago. It actually touched it here this morning, got up close to it and got rejected. But we'll see if they cross over into that $2 range. They're ranked number 37 right now on the big board as well. We got Mutasco up here. Mutasco, what's going on, man? What's on your mind? How you doing?
Hey, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, good morning. No, I wanted to, I don't know if you've been following this, just to be a little cautious between now and the next 4 days, I think, because of, I think there's something going on with like a potential liquidity squeeze. I don't know how that's going to affect Aster, but have you been following Tether's XPL token at all?
No, fill us in.
So, as you know, they have their own kind of, they call it stablecoin native layer one. And this is a scary part of this market, guys. If you dig a lot about BITUNIX, I mean, the whole government Bitcoin that we're talking about, that came from BITUNIX. So, and then you have Founders Fund, which is Peter Thiel's company. There's several other big names behind this whole thing, right? They raised a lot of money, like $74 million at a $500 million valuation. And it's literally about to launch in I think on the 25th, I believe. Now, I don't know how much that is going to drag anything that is getting a shine right now. So just be a little careful. I do believe that, Asta is a long cook. I can tell you that. I'll be shocked if it's not. It's going to be a long, dragged on cook because this is something that needs to build and do the right thing. And if you listen to CZ from, some of his recent podcasts that he's done, you can kind of glue into what's happening, right? He's not even hiding it. So, but I do believe that if you're looking to catch a trade, if you're looking for a short term, just be careful not to tie up your capital if you're looking to take out opportunities as well. I just have to highlight that. But for anybody who's curious, go dig into it. It's going to be a big deal also. I won't be surprised if some of these massive whales, and these are the same people that are kind of all over Hyperliquid right now. And I don't see them just sitting there and watching XPL just launch. And they're like, well, because they did pre-sale. So there's a lot going on there. And there's other ones also that I'm, keeping my eye on. All I'm saying is the next couple of weeks is going to be hot. That's all I know. If it doesn't get hot, I'll be shocked. But just watch out. If you're looking to get into Aster, I think it's a good price. But remember, a lot of people don't understand this. Hyperliquid, I think it's 1 billion supply. Aster is 8 billion. So do the numbers yourself, and then understand that if you're looking at it as like, oh, it's going to be $45. No, practically speaking, you have to do the numbers and understand what supply, total supply, circulating supply, max supply is, and then come to a reasonable estimate of what the market cap could be. So if you haven't looked into this, Zach, pay attention to that one. The names are just like powerhouses, right? They can write a check at any level, and these are all behind Tether, right? So, and this is the first ever kind of, I'll call it native token, and they're gonna have like, I mean, they're gonna smoke Coinbase and Robinhood and all that, because if you know how embedded Tether is in Latin America and other countries, imagine just having a card where you can just load up, USDT and do anything with it, right? So it's exciting. It's exciting, and I'm gonna say it. It's exciting, but just pay attention. I'm watching that one very closely, and I think it's gonna kind of move some liquidity away from other things right now.
Appreciate that, Mutasco. Yeah, send me a DM on that so I don't forget, if you don't mind, if you can at some point during the space, because you know how it is. We sit here for 2 hours and I always forget things that we talk about, but I don't want to forget that. I want to look into that. There was some news coming out within the last hour or two from Ripple's main account, and it says our new partnership with Securitize is going to allow holders of BlackRock's BITL and VanEck's VBIL to instantly exchange their shares for RLUSD, thereby preserving exposure to on-chain yield and other DeFi capabilities. Securitize is also integrating with the XRP ledger to expand access and utility to the entire XRP ecosystem. This is how we're building the infrastructure for a more efficient, compliant on-chain future. So that was some big news as well. Ripple continues to be one of those forward-facing companies that is going all in on tokenization. And it's interesting because Ripple really doesn't get the love in the tokenization arena as much as they should. People think Ripple, people think XRP, people think cross-border payments, remittances, and they kind of stop there. But I've mentioned this, and Mutasco, I know we've had longer conversations about this at other points. I think their play all along has been a tokenization play, and they are right at the forefront of this entire arena. So, you hear the big names like Chainlink, you hear the big names like ONDO and XLM and HBAR. They're all big players too. Avalanche, which we'll talk about Avalanche here at some point. They're really cooking right now. But XRP is right there too. It's funny because if you go to the RWA protocol list on like CoinMarketCap, for example, they don't even list XRP on that list, which it's kind of silly. But they should be there, and they are the top player by market cap in the RWA arena. And obviously, I mean, Ethereum's there too. So I mean, Ethereum should be on that list as well, and they're not. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, Ripple's play, I think, all along has been a play of tokenization, and it just it takes time to get there in the space, and we're finally here. We know that's what Larry Fink has basically been shouting from the mountaintop since he got his wish after Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. So excited about that news that dropped. Korea Blockchain Week going on, guys, kicking off today. We've got Paid out there. Of course, he's a co-host of our Breakfast Club Spaces. I sent Paid out there. He'll be out there reporting live for us. I'll be, getting some insights from him in the back channels. He'll be able to give us some insights and information. Then he'll be heading to Token 2049 in Singapore as well, which there's always some big news that comes out of Token 2049. I was at both events last year in Dubai and in Singapore, and those to me are the best conferences when it comes to alpha news, big announcements. All the big players are there, and from what I hear, Korea Blockchain Week, which is all kind of wrapped into one, is a big deal as well. I mean, we know how much the South Korean traders move this market. It's insane. The volume, the levels of volume that they bring into the market. So let me kick it over to Ben. I'll pull up some other alpha, some more news. If you guys could do me a solid, do us a solid, repost the room, share the room. Let's send it to some friends. Let's get some people in here. What's up, Ben?
What's up? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'll kick it back to Aster here. I did a video yesterday to kind of learn more about it. First of all, the community is huge for Aster. With these top 50 projects, you never quite know. Sometimes they can have the huge communities like Ripple, Hedera, Cardano. Sometimes they don't. It's just not a community-driven token. Like maybe it's not a layer 2 blockchain, or they don't really have the social features. But no, a huge community in Aster. So the reason I guess most people are pumped, obviously. CZ, as we all know, he founded Binance. So Binance back in 2017 was the fastest company in any industry, crypto or not, to go from 0 to 1 billion in profit in its first year. So we're not even talking revenue here. 1 billion in revenue in its first year would be just amazing already. And then 0 to 1 billion in valuation, that's called unicorn. That happens from time to time. Very rare. 0 to 1 billion in profit in 1 year. That's just absolutely unheard of. So obviously, this is his second project. He hasn't officially sort of said it's his project, but he put up that tweet. He's been consistently tweeting it every day as he's been tweeting about stuff related to Binance Exchange, Binance Smart Chain, his Eagle Educational Academy. So it's one of only 4 or 5 sort of entities that he tweets about on a daily basis. So it certainly looks like he is kind of sort of silently running the show right there. But yeah, so that's obviously what the hype is. I mean, and Binance itself, that was the second most profitable ICO in history after Ethereum. Ethereum is the number 1 most profitable, Binance number 2. But Ethereum came out in 2014 when the price of Bitcoin was like 200. Binance came out when it was closer to 5,000. So proportionally, the Binance ICO is even more profitable. But yeah, that is basically where the hype is. I guess the TVL stats are pretty impressive. I don't really have too much experience using Hyperliquid or Aster, but obviously combining spots and futures exchanges and futures capabilities on a DEX is a little unusual. It's been done before, obviously, with Hyperliquid, but it's a little unusual. It has some sort of advanced features that separate it from Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid has 6 times higher market cap currently at Aster prices. So that's why people are still bullish on Aster. And then, obviously with CZ back in charge, I think we kind of have our answer, as I said yesterday, why a BNB token has been pumping the last few months kind of quietly. I think CZ should have been silently in charge without making any announcement. I'm just very, very bullish on Aster myself. And this is in a down market. I think when he came out with it a week ago, mid-September, I think it's all about timing. Sort of front run the October pumps. I took that as a very bullish thing. Okay, he knows timing well, so he is definitely as bullish as we all are. Then in a couple weeks, the market's going to start upticking. So you want to get on that? What else can we do? Let's give Coinbase some attention here. They listed Troll meme coin last night, a little 8-9 p.m. Eastern listing.
I saw that, Ben. Coinbase Markets. That's the place to follow, man. I'm telling you, if you want to front run this stuff, guys, put notifications on Coinbase Markets account.
Yeah, they tend to not list it on Coinbase Assets account or the Coinbase regular account. So Coinbase Market, I had to just add them the other day. I didn't know that, but that's for the you got to be on this stuff fast. But yeah, like 8-9 p.m. Eastern random listing. But that was good. Trolls up about 35%. Hopefully that's also front running the sort of Pumptober season, all time in there.
Is it really? I wanted to get into it, and I pulled it up yesterday. I looked at it. It was way down, and then I forgot about it. I started doing something else. So it's up 35%. Of course it is.
Yeah, and it kind of held to it. At first, it initially only pumped like 15-20%. So the troll community was going nuts, as you typically do. But I'm like, okay, maybe the night effect kind of muted it, but now it's been pumping even more. Look, the timing might have been because troll was losing momentum the last week or two. They were down to like 110 million market cap, and they've been up to about 250 a month ago. So sometimes an exchange will list it to just kind of, they know they're going to list it at some point. They don't want to let the price go any lower. So it's okay, let's get some momentum back in. It's an effective strategy. That was good right there for Coinbase. That's pretty much all I got right here today. But I do not expect that right now. It's an Aster market right now for at least the next few weeks. Low caps are kind of flat, medium caps are kind of flat, but Aster I definitely expect. I know the big, obviously, since CZ's worth $100 billion, he's just not likely to sell any of his Aster tokens. He doesn't need money, in any token. The founder has the most tokens. So if they sell, that's going to catapult the price. He just doesn't need to sell. And I didn't see anything about it, like a fundraising or token sale. Like Matasko was talking about that. So in that case, you'd have to worry about the token unlocks and all that stuff. I don't think you have to worry about that with Aster, because I think it looks like it was just self-funded by CZ. If it wasn't, I couldn't find any information on it, but it didn't look like they did a traditional VC round or anything like that. So that's another bonus right there. Anyone else want to take the stage? We can pass it on here.
So there are rumors, and we'll jump to Ahmed. There are rumors that Fundstrat, Mutasko, did you see this? Let me see if I can. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I can share right to the space on my laptop. I need to start just live streaming all of these, by the way. I think we're just going to start doing that. As long as I'm sitting at home and not on the go with these spaces, I think I'm just going to live stream them. But anyway, rumors are that Fundstrat is launching an Aster DAT, raising $10 billion to compete with Hyperliquid. We'll see if there's some merit to this, but I mean, it just gets more and more interesting, man. I'm telling you, there are some some big players, I think, still to come into Aster. It's just, I mean, take a look at this too. Take a look at this too. First, let's just say here, first 23 days. Here, I'll give you guys this too. I'll put a bunch of stuff up in the nest that I find interesting, so you guys can just take a look at that as I see it come in. But Ahmed, you're in here. Ahmed, what's going on, man? Do you have anything related to the topic at hand here? Aster, have you been following that? We got Korea Blockchain Week. Avalanche, which we'll get into, they've been looking very, very solid as well. What's on your mind this morning, man? What's happening?
Hello, Zach. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good to see you, Rolly. Look, I see things in a different way usually. So regarding Aster, it's regarding having building a decentralized one. At this point, for sure, maybe it will be like more advanced than others or whatever. And he have like deep pocket and good relationship to build that for sure, and the expertise. But you need to know that CZ is not, I cannot accuse him with anything because I don't have any evidence about anything, but he's not that good guy, let's say. He don't have like this neat reputation. That being said, I believe maybe also he's building that because of the necessity, not because of that something new he want to invest in. He need to do that. Why? Because I believe now it's like, and I believe there will be more regulations on crypto market or something. And don't forget that Binance, at the end of the day, it's licensed company. And when you register on Binance, at least in my case here in the Middle East, you need to send them your ID copy. They confirm your ID copy or passport. They confirm your identity and everything. So a lot of people, they don't like that. It's like against the main idea of crypto. So maybe by building that, he's like touching like another segment of the market that he need to attract or something like that. And you know what? He can maybe by doing that, because he don't know who's dealing with his with his platform, that he can make, like, let's say he can do more shenanigans. It will be more it will be more flexible for him to do more shenanigans if he want to. I'm not saying that he intended to. So, and with his history, with a lot of question marks, this is like the logical move to do. You got me? So this is what I see. It's like a different play. Maybe it's like in general, it's good for the market. Maybe, but let's see what will happen. So this is my concept about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I get it. I get where you're coming from. Mutasko wants to jump in here too on this. I mean, I got some thoughts too. I mean, Mutasko, do you want to respond to that? Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to respond. I don't know, Ahmed. I just wanted, can you hear me?
It's a little choppy.
Can't hear him. Okay. Go ahead, Zach. I'll come back.
Yeah, drop down and come right back. We'll get you up here. Cliff, what's going on, man? Good morning to you. I don't know if you caught what we were kind of talking about, but welcome in.
No, man, I got in late, unfortunately, but appreciate you, buddy. Good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Just talking about Aster, man. I mean, this thing is gone parabolic yet again. It's up 35%. We tried to tell people yesterday at 1:30 on the pullback.
Yeah. I mean, if CZ's behind it, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. It's the circulating supply is only 1.65 billion out of a total 8 billion. The looks like the next unlock 205 million tokens is October 16th, which is not really a large unlock in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if CZ's involved with it at all, I mean, it's not financial advice, but it could have legs. I mean, we saw what happened with Bio, Zach, and there's been rumblings with his involvement in that one also, and it's kind of whatever the guy touches turns to gold. Some people have that ability, and he's been in the industry long enough where there's a form of trust there with people who follow him. So, and you got to think, I mean, what we saw with Hype and what they were able to unlock for the greater crypto industry, there's going to be competition. There's always going to be the next one up, and it looks like maybe that's Aster in that arena. So yeah, I wish I would have caught it before it even ran to, what was it, Zach, like $1.50 or something like that originally. I wish I would have caught that thing at like 9 cents or whatever, but hey, nothing I can do about that. Yeah, it looks really, really nice, and maybe if it catches another dip, maybe I'll enter into it and see. But if I miss the bus on it, then I miss the bus. It is what it is, But
I don't think you did, Cliff. I mean, again, who knows, right? I mean, is there going to be some type of pullback? Yeah. But okay, just put this in perspective. Its main competitor is Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid was kind of organic grassroots. They didn't have an influencer behind it like CZ or a company behind it like YZI Labs who backs Binance. Aster's 3.4 billion and Hyperliquid's 16 billion right now. So, do you buy the toppity top here at 209? Maybe not, but I mean, like, it's one of those plays that I think is going to be one of the best spot positions to hold over the next 3-4 months. It's just that's my opinion, guys. Don't take it to the bank. I'm an idiot. We're all idiots. Okay, I got to preface this. Okay, but where there's smoke, there's fire, and sometimes the blueprint is just right out in front of you in crypto.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to break the rules. And breaking the rules on this one is buying it while it's already exploded or whatever. But when you see the fair value where this thing could be in a full-fledged bull cycle, which we expect to get into at some point, and here's the other thing too, they have a business behind it. It's not like this is just like a hype coin, right? I mean, look at the numbers. They're the number one in perp.dex volume in the last 24 hours with $11 billion coming through Aster. And it's like day 5 of the thing being live. So people are using it. It's not just like, oh, what's it going to be? Like, hopefully it's going to be used one day. You know what I mean?
Insane numbers, dude. Insane numbers in a week. In just a week. That's what people say. There's not enough liquidity in volume in crypto right now. Look at Aster. That's the perfect example. Yes, there is volume.
And this is a trader's market right now. It is a trader's paradise. So to launch this type of product at this time is the perfect scenario, because what's dictating where the market goes right now? It's not spot. It's not spot buyers necessarily. It's traders. And but I'll tell you one thing. I spot buy this thing. I spot bought this thing at 60 cents. I bought more yesterday at $1.30. I have shifted some things around to load up on this, and we'll see how it plays out.
I hope it works out for you, and I'm Zach. You know, make good plays, man. And did you see? Did you see what the SEC said earlier today? I saw it from Watcher Guru. SEC to allow crypto companies to launch products in the U.S. without burdensome regulatory requirements.
Yes,
Guys, right before Q4. What does that tell you? And Aster releasing right before Q4. What does that tell you?
people are trying to front run
already
it.
shaping up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's shaping up, man. It is definitely coming. You know, there's a plan for everything. So I'll let somebody.
Did you see this too? I'll share it to the top of the big board. This came down from Watcher Guru yesterday too. Just in, U.S. lawmakers asking the SEC to implement President Trump's executive order opening the $12.5 trillion 401k retirement market to crypto. That's another catalyst that is looming, guys. A big catalyst. Yeah.
It's so crazy, dude. This is what we've been talking about, Zach. All these things, coming together. It's like the perfect storm for things to come together in Q4, man. So.
Yep. Appreciate everybody being here in the space. Let's get up over 100 here in the room. Share the room for us. Send it out to everybody that you know in your Telegram groups, etc. Let's get a bunch of people in here. We're dropping alpha. We're dropping insights. We got a bunch of people live with us on YouTube and X. Almost 700 people live across all three platforms. Rumble too. Shout out to everybody listening. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your questions over on the live streams too. Be happy to get to some of those. And Mutasko is back up here. We'll get to paid too. I want to see if he's got any news or insight from Korea. He's out there at the events. But Mutasko, what's going on? I want to get back to you. I know you were trying to make a point there before.
No. So the point I'm going to make about what Ahmed said, and I'm going to project something here that may be a little controversial, but just take it for what it is, okay? In the United States, and you guys have read, I don't know, maybe quadrillions of FUD messages about Tether, okay? You ever ask why? Okay? I think one of the fewest people that actually knows a lot about Tether is Simon Dixon. This guy is embedded in that whole Bitcoin community to the T. And one of the things I would say about CZ and maybe VChain, Sunny Lou, and then another person that I would say, and I actually looked into this. It was fascinating. And then Cardano and their ties to a foreign nation, all that stuff, right? And then I would say, think about what you think of Vladimir Putin and maybe, what's the name, Kim Jong-un or whatever. You get what I'm saying there? I don't understand this, but I sometimes this is how I process my brain. People like to say CZ is a bad guy, okay? What I don't understand is a lot of people don't say a lot of things about Brian Armstrong. You ever wonder why? You ever ask yourself why? And I could go on the list and name things that, you ever wonder why nobody talks about Jamie Dimon in a bad way? Anybody ever wonder why the CEO of Wells Fargo, even after all the crap? So all I'm saying is this. Anytime a foreign person is involved, there's what we call the powers of principality, okay? This applies to every sector, telecommunication, payments, banking, all that stuff. So when you put all of that aside, I'm not saying that CZ doesn't have some things on him, but you have to remember when the case came along by the DOJ, I'm telling you, the government deployed all of their resources to dig into CZ, okay? There may be some implications. Some people may have gotten their hands kind of tied, but all I would say is anything that is said about this guy trying to smear him, I always say a break, okay? Because the whole reason why we're in this space is we wanted to run away from the traditional finance system. And I believe at the core that these people have proxies trying to smear leaders and pioneers of this space. There is no question in my mind, people have their own bad things that they do, but CZ, for his, he has, like, I put him in the same bucket as Vitalik, okay? So all I would say is, think about what I just said, and don't just brush it off as like maybe I'm trying to tie it to something external. I just find it very weird because I know there's a lot of things. Guys, I've dug into Coinbase, the number of startups that are called the forensics. They do like blockchain forensics. And Brian Armstrong is going around and just do some Google search on this, okay? And all of that takes me back to the government being able to control and have access to your transaction data, okay? So anything that the government tries to do, and I've done some research on Nigeria, CZ and Binance, what they've done globally is a lot. There's a lot of impact there. And a lot of regular people have benefited significantly on Binance's footprint in the world, okay? There is no question about that. But what you don't usually hear when these people like to pick and choose, they cherry pick on specific things about CZ, and they want to use that as a reason for you to ignore CZ. I say this, and I'm not a fan of, I'm not here like trying to glaze him or anything. I'm just speaking based on what I know, right? And I think that sometimes we have to hail people that are looking to provide access to people that are historically left out of the financial system. Look up Binance VIP P2P program in Nigeria and other parts of the world, okay? Now, the other thing with Aster is look up the timing. In fact, the plasma thing that I told you about, Zach, in fact, on day one, they were able to mobilize $2 billion. Day one, $2 billion in stablecoin liquidity. They were able to deploy that $2 billion across 100 plus DeFi applications. Do you know who else is involved? Binance Earn, okay? Do you know what else within Binance is integrated within this plasma thing with PEPs and all that? The timing is interesting. These are giants of our space, okay? I don't, everybody can have their opinion about Tether these days, and there's no proof of reserve and that crap. Nobody knows if Jamie Dimon has everything that they're securitizing on books, okay? The gold that they spoof in the market globally, nobody can prove definitively that they have everything back in everything they do. But people still trade with JP Morgan. So sometimes I'm not giving them a break, but I just want people to have a different perspective on their views about some of these founders that we have in crypto. We get shut down really big time, and it's kind of sad. But guys, Asta is going to be big. And I'm putting my name out there. I just want people to understand, like, if it fails, it's easy to lose. But I don't think he's going to let that happen. So,
Matasco, I would like to just rebuttal that and say I believe there are many people that are critical of Brian Armstrong and JP Morgan, myself included. And I also am critical of CZ because he did break the law. Binance broke the law. Now, are there others that do the same thing? Absolutely. Absolutely. And what you bring up is it, I don't know necessarily that it's because they're U.S. citizens or they're not U.S. citizens, but I think one thing that you do have to worry about is potential foreign influence within these private companies. And, the CCP could have possibly hands into Binance. Who knows? We don't have a way of knowing that. You know what I'm saying? If it's a U.S. company, we do because they have tax filings and other things like that. But if you look, there's been many U.S. CEOs that have been convicted of different, securities fraud, all kinds of stuff in the United States. So, I do think it's important to note that if you break the law, eventually it's going to catch up to you. Period. No matter where you're from, and we found that out with Binance and CZ. Even if you are from outside of the United States and you break the law with our taxation and our tax code, we will come for you and get you. Period.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I will say, all of these companies do bad and they do good. They're somewhere in the middle. It doesn't make them good and it doesn't make them bad. And if you guys remember a few months ago, Coinbase had an issue with user data being extracted and or possibly sold via one of their foreign customer service representatives that had access into that system. And the person that basically, what would be the word? I guess would be enticed or whatever. That employee had a bounty or that they wanted Brian to pay. And instead of him paying that bounty, he offered another bounty for people to offer information that would lead to the arrest of that person wherever they were from. So, like I said, I mean, there's good and bad found everywhere, so you just gotta, I don't trust any of these guys. Let me just be clear with that. I don't trust a single one of them. And if you paid attention to what Jamie Dimon said when he was on Capitol Hill last year, when he was blasting crypto as a scam, and you look at what he's doing today, that tells you exactly what these CEOs try to do.
Hey, Clifford, I don't know if you saw the letter from the White House to the SEC yesterday to Paul Atkins. Did you see that one?
I don't think I did, to be honest with
So
you.
in that letter, and I think we're speaking about two different things. My point is more on access, okay? I would take access over anything, to your point. And you know me, I've dug into these criminals, and the fact that they just pay a fine and walk away, it doesn't make them better.
No.
The other thing to note, and I don't know if you've read the whole thing, the indictment of CZ, the documents. I mean, I went over it and I looked at stuff. One of the things he said that I still remember is this. If it takes them, because if you remember, crypto has been 15 years. If you started crypto in 2015, there were no laws.
Mm-hmm.
If we're trying to create something new, even when they tried to go to Gary and say, hey, Gary, we want to be regulated, there was no door.
No.
So the point I will make is, I'm not even justifying what they did, but the question becomes, well, should the early adopters have just sat there and wait until the government was ready? So you could call that maybe criminal activity, because obviously they weren't compliant. How were they supposed to be compliant when there wasn't any?
There's no rule book. Yeah.
That existed.
No, 100%. Mutasco, you're 100% right. And I just want to make that distinction. This is not like the same as like a Sam Bankman-Fried type of thing.
Yeah.
Where, Sam Bankman-Fried was completely manipulating the market, completely using user funds, complete fraud. Where like CZ was just like, hey, there's no blueprint here. We're going to do it this way because we're trying to innovate. We're trying to figure out what this looks like. And there's no right or wrong with this, right? So it is a little different. I mean, for sure. And I do think with the United States, government that's in place now, this is what they're trying to fix. Because for the longest time, these companies, I mean, Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, he said it himself. He tried to get a sit-down meeting, last cycle during the Biden era. He tried to get a sit-down meeting with the SEC, not one time, not two times, not three times, not four, not five, almost 10 different times he tried to reach out to basically get in front of somebody who he could, basically ask, hey, how do we do this? How do we do that? We want to make sure we're doing it by the book. They never even answered the call. So now what do? Now you're forced to basically sit there with your hands tied and not innovate.
That was the whole plan. That was their plan. They wanted to be able to hold this over these companies' heads, where if they broke some unwritten law or something that they thought was a law, they could go after them.
Rule with an iron fist. That was their method to their madness. Let's rule with an iron fist. Let's make it very unclear what you can do and can't do. In fact, let's make it completely unclear. You have no idea. And we'll just, come down on you whenever the hell we want.
And Zach, I'll even say this: if CZ would have reported any of those taxes made, or that income made from, I believe it was Binance US maybe, or it was actually main Binance, but had he reported that to the US government and paid on that, I bet nothing would have ever happened to him. It was all about the money, period. All about the money.
Yep.
Yeah, Matasco, can I just hop in? I just wanted to give one more point to what you were saying earlier. I think you kind of left out the biggest reason that, the size of the two companies. And Binance, I'm looking right now, so they have such a monopoly on the market. Currently, their trading volume, daily 24-hour trading volumes are 7.5 times the size of Coinbase's. They're about 5 times the size of Bybit's, et cetera. Sorry, why am I losing my voice here? So anytime you're like that big, you're always going to have pretty much a target on your back.
Yes.
And I think they were maybe even 10 times bigger when this all happened 2 years ago. So, it could have been some personality. Maybe CZ's personality a little more arrogant than Brian Armstrong. Maybe CZ was trying to reach out a little less than Brian Armstrong was, even though Brian Armstrong wasn't getting the open door. But when you're that big in any industry, there's just kind of always going to be a target on your back, especially in this country here.
Yep. Guys, real quick, Trump is live right now. Let's go ahead and listen in here to see what he's saying.
And 3 months ago, in Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 30,000-pound each bombs
Send
on
crypto
Iran's
to the
key
moon.
nuclear facility,
Whatever you're
totally
holding is going to
obliterating
$100
everything.
billion today.
No other country on
by
earth could have
3
done what
p.m.
we did. No other
Thank
country
you for
has
your
the
attention to
equipment to
this
do what
matter.
we did. We have the greatest weapons on earth. We hate to use them. But we did something that for 22 years people wanted to do.
Can you guys hear it?
Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity.
We heard it. Very
demolished, I
bullish.
immediately brokered
Some
an end
exciting,
to the 12-day
exciting
war.
announcement there.
No, can you guys hear him though
Israel
too?
and Iran, with both sides agreeing to
Are you
fight,
serious? No.
fight
Oh, really?
no longer.
Yeah, he's
As
telling
everyone
you.
knows, I have
Look,
also been
Hold on, I'm
deeply
playing it.
engaged in
That's weird.
secretly ceasefire
hold
in
on.
Gaza.
while you do that, I just want to say something very important to Matasco. I truly
Unfortunately, Hamas has
respect your
repeatedly rejected
your brain.
reasonable offers to
Seriously,
make
and,
peace.
and I know you have a lot of logic in your point, but all we are doing here is that we are exchanging our views about the subjects. It's not we are recommending things or unrecommending things, or we are judging people. And yes, for sure, if you are two big companies, sometimes, especially in the beginning of crypto, you need to be a weasel a little bit. So because you want to be innovative, as Ben said. So, but that's being said, is that all I'm saying is these exchanges of point of views is better that to look at things in as we can say naked eye, so we can understand. And the problem is that if you see in the communities and the cryptos and everything, they literally deal with these people like a holy person. We don't want to do that. We tell them, no, this is a normal person. Maybe he done something wrong. So it's like, don't follow his steps 100%. This is the whole concept of it. But yes, for sure, he did good for the crypto. But in the other hand, there's a lot of other things need to be like addressed. We need to understand it. That's it. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's good insight. I mean, Trump just got done. It wasn't anything about crypto. He was talking about the stock market a little bit, but did not address crypto from what I can gather. I was just listening a little bit in the back channels. But so one thing we do have coming today, guys, Powell is going to be speaking at 12:35 p.m. Eastern, about 2 hours from now. So obviously, anytime he speaks outside of the official meetings, all eyes on rate cut signals. Anything of the sorts could help prop up the market. So we'll see if anything comes of that today. So that is happening in a couple hours. Taking a look at the overall market here, let's take a quick peek. Bitcoin still right around 113. Ethereum holding steady just below 4,200. XRP 286. BNB back over 1,000. Solana hovering around 220. We haven't got into Avalanche, and I wanted to get into that. AVAX has been kind of quietly cooking here in the last week or so. They're up 12% the last 24 hours, getting close to a $15 billion market cap. They've had a bunch of big announcements. AVAX dangerously close from overtaking Chainlink by market cap, by the way, too. Right on the heels of Link to maybe jump into that number 12 spot. Again, up 12% today. Any thoughts across the board here from any of the speakers on Avalanche and some of the big announcements that have come out here recently?
They're doing things, bruh. They are doing things. You and Larry were talking about that months ago before it happened. And yeah, they're definitely doing some things over there. FIFA left Algo, unfortunately, and went over to Avalanche, which is pretty big. I saw something else with them that came out yesterday. I can't remember what it was, but it was something substantial, Zach. So they're definitely positioning themselves, and them and Chainlink just kind of keep going back and forth, switching spots, man. So they're battling a little bit. It's cool to watch because they're actually bringing each other up. The more that they're battling for market cap, each one of them keep climbing. So I'm all about it, dude. Send both of them.
Yep, I'm with you. One of the things I like to look for on these layer ones is DEX volume. When SWE was going parabolic, that DEX volume was overtaking Solana there for a little while, right? And price appreciated. AVAX's DEX volume is getting close to 1 billion here in the last 24 hours. Avalanche records its largest daily trading spike in over 18 months. So yeah, I mean, this thing was, let's just call a spade a spade. This thing was depressed for too long, and it had to catch up. It had to catch up. So Aster, AVAX, both of those two capturing a lot of the mind share right now. And, they've had some big news come out too. They've had a couple big companies come out and say they're creating strategic reserves with AVAX. So that's been a big storyline as well. And keep in mind, the all-time high of Avalanche is $146 still. So, I mean, there's still some room here for AVAX to really move up. I mean, if you put in 146 into my coin perspective tool, that's a 317% increase still from $35 back up to all-time highs at 146. So that's 317% just to get back to all-time highs. So yeah, AVAX definitely worthy of some conversation. Something else I put up in the nest real quick, guys. I did just sign on a big partnership with WEEX. If you're looking for a spot to trade, why not come over and trade with me over at WEEX, guys? 20% deposit bonus. We just started this yesterday. So when you sign up, you're going to get a 20% bonus on top of whatever you deposit. So that is a huge offer. Check it out. WEEX, one of the top exchanges out there to make your plays. I put it up in the nest as well. Let's see. Ben, you got any thoughts on AVAX, man?
Nothing really on AVAX. I just have noticed they have been a very sort of quiet mover. The quiet movers are definitely the best. Good sort of rivalries in terms of market cap are always a good thing for crypto. Chainlink and Avalanche always have two projects like duking it out back and forth. They do notice that kind of stuff. So rivalries are good. But yeah, it's all TVL. Avalanche, not really you could say they're not really a sexy blockchain. They're not really into like the meme coin space or that stuff. It's all TVL, DEXs, that sort of stuff, utility plays they have in their ecosystem. But yeah, I got on Avalanche.
Go ahead, Cliff.
I was just going to say, for anybody who's bullish on AVAX, and this is not really a shill, but it's just something to pay attention to. One of the lesser known dexes on AVAX is Pangolin. And if you've ever looked at it, it's got a really low circulating supply, trading around 14 cents right now, but the all-time high was $5. So that if you're bullish on AVAX, that may be one you want to keep on the radar.
Appreciate that. I have heard about that one. I haven't have never jumped into it, but I have heard about it in the past.
They're on Coinbase and Binance already.
Interesting. What's their market cap? Do you know?
I think it's like 30 mil, dude. Let's
Okay.
see, hold on. I'll
Interesting.
tell you. Yeah, 30 mil.
Could be a nice beta play there. I like it. Quick shout out to Manu. Manu meme coin on ETH. They're popping up here today. I'm looking at some of the top movers on the small cap side. Looking at my list here, they're up 20%, back up to a $20 million market cap. So Manu looking pretty strong there. So shout out to them. Aster continues to move here, guys. We're at 205, up 43% on the day, 6% in the last hour. Avalanche is the second biggest mover, up over 12% today, and just crossed over $35. And Mutasco, shout out to you, man. You had that EtherFi call a few weeks back. They're now in the top 100. Ether.fi, ETHFi. They're up a little over 5%. They're sitting at $1.49 right now. Just shy of a $1 billion market cap, getting close, 765 mil. And I know you mentioned that one, so I wanted to give you your flowers on that one. So good call there.
Also, Zach, I'll hop in here. So I'm not sure if you were Pablo Crow. He has a new token. I think you were also in like a year ago, the MSI Monkey Shit Inu one. He's launched like 3 or 4 tokens by now. They all run to 10 to 30 million. So I got on that one. It's about 2 million. It's called Crow Show. If you're interested, he launched it like 3 days ago. So we're brand new. 2 million. I got it a little bit below 1 million. I mean, his tokens always seem to reach a certain market cap level. They don't really break past that, 25, 30 million, but it's early if you're interested. So
is it a pump.fund play? Is it did he launch it?
Yeah, started on Pump Fund 3 days ago, graduated out. I aped in yesterday like 900K. It's 1.8 mil right now. It's pretty much just me and him, but other people are kind of noticing it right now. We're the only like influencers. But yeah, I always look for stuff early like this, and at least his holders don't really sell in the beginning. After that, then it's anyone's game. But the first couple, weeks, month, 2, the price, he's got good traction. Any like influencer, that's why I like Aster. I think it's like led by a personality that you kind of know in the space. I always put those projects kind of ahead of all the others. So CZ Aster, Pablo Crow, this coin. So did I say you can check that one out?
I like it. Appreciate that. Cliff, what do you got, man? Then we'll go up to Saga.
Oh, I don't have my hand up if it's up. My bad.
Oh, okay. And it was up on mine.
I will say, I'm sorry, Matasco. I wasn't trying to, question what you were saying or anything. I was just adding a second perspective there, but I do believe you were correct as well.
Saga, what's up, man?
Hey Ben, I know you were watching the chart on BRBR a little bit from the one that I'm in. I'm curious your thoughts on the fact that that's I think it's the only pump fund token that's giving 100% of the rewards tax free back to all the holders. Do you think that's a good narrative in this pump fund space at the moment?
Let's see. So I haven't checked that chart in like a day or two. So what's the tax that they're getting? Like what percentage?
No, there's 0 tax on the rewards.
Oh, so the fees that they earn, you're saying they're giving back to the holders?
Yeah, and 30% of the whales in the project have opted out of the rewards. I don't know. I've just had a lot of fun in the community and putting out content and stuff, but I'm just curious to your thoughts because I know you're in the trenches and in the meme space.
It looked like a good narrative. The real low cap stuff like that, 100, 200K, it's kind of harder to enter into with size. You can't really enter into with size of that sort of the price up. So the people who trade that's kind of like their niche right there. I usually prefer like above $1 million or two. But yeah, no, the narrative looked good. It was good price action last time I checked about 2 days ago. I think it was at like 200K, 150K, given the creator fees back. That's definitely a trendy thing to do. And I guess the whale's turning down the fees, that's good, because if the fees are paid in the native token, then they could sell the native token. So them not getting it back, that's probably better. So yeah, seems good.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, guys, just looking at some top storylines here, seeing if there's anything else kind of out here. Former White House director backs Avalanche blockchain platform. So Anthony Scaramucci, founder of Skybridge Capital, former White House communications director, expressed confidence in digital assets by investing in Avalanche. In an interview yesterday with CNBC, Scaramucci described Avalanche as a Swiss Army knife of layer one blockchain platforms. That's probably a reason why it's pumping, one of the reasons. He emphasized that the platform offers flexibility and potential applications for enterprises. Avalanche's subnet functionality allows organizations to create custom blockchains for tokenized funds, for securities, and other digital assets. As a result, companies can manage operational and regulatory requirements more efficiently. So he's putting his name behind AVAX here. Scaramucci highlighted that major institutions, including BlackRock and Visa, are adopting Avalanche. This adoption indicates that the platform is gaining credibility alongside ETH and Solana. Enterprise adoption providing a practical measure of blockchain platforms' long-term viability. Analysts noting that institutional adoption is particularly relevant for finance and tokenized asset management. Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, right? Follow the big money. What's built for the enterprises, what's built for the institutions, that's where money's going to flow, right? And so AVAX getting a nice boost there from Scaramucci.
Hey, Zach, I'm going to make it up to Matasco for my rebuttal to him. Check out what I threw up in the nest. That one's for both of you guys, because I know both of you are into XRP.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I saw that, Cliff. We mentioned at the top of the space. That was big. It was big. Yeah, Ripple gets a big win there, and expect to see some more big news like this, guys, during Korea Blockchain Week, during Token 2049. I expect we get some big news from some big players. Keep your eyes on a lot of the big players in the RWA sector, right? XRP, XLM, HBAR, Chainlink, AVAX, Algorand, all the big players. I think we'll see some fireworks coming out from now until the end of Token, which Token 2049 is October 1st and 2nd. So we got Korea Blockchain Week cooking right now. We know no Paids out there right now. I tried to get him up a few times. He's probably having issues with connecting from out there, but yeah, I expect to see some big news for sure coming out over the next week or two from both those conferences. It's a great place to announce some of these things. You guys know how the game's played. You kind of sit on some of these big news events and partnerships until you can get the masses seeing it and helping push that narrative. So I expect we'll get some more big news over the next week or two here with these big conferences happening for sure.
And just, going back to Anthony Scaramucci, so it looks like he's kind of sort of working his way back into crypto. He was keeping a low profile the last couple of years. He wasn't quite, 2021, 2022, he was hugely involved. He was kind of friends with the whole FTX ecosystem, not involved. He was just kind of at all their conferences, sort of closely aligned with that. So that since that, he was keeping a low profile, but besides, he's going to be on that Killer Whale show that's starting this week. He's one of the 4 or 5 judges. He's invested in Avalanche. I'd heard about a couple other investment announcements he had made recently. So he's kind of working his way back. And people generally like Anthony Scaramucci, so that's a good thing overall.
Definitely. I was looking at some my news feed here. 21 shares Dogecoin ETF listed on DTCC under ticker TDOG. So that's kind of interesting. That's the DTCC's Depository Trust and Clearing Corp. So anytime it's listed there, usually it's coming. So 21 shares, that's a big one for Dogecoin's ETF. Doge got kind of knocked down there a little bit too. Where's it at right now? Let's see. I still like Dogecoin quite a bit. Sitting here just shy of 24 cents, down 8% on the week. That could be an interesting little entry here for you guys. Not financial advice, of course, but keep that on the radar.
I'm kicking my own ass for not jumping into Doge when I should have.
Back when it was like 10 cents forever?
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man. I even had an opportunity after that to take some profits from another one and throw it into that, and could have had a sizable bag and moved it into something else. So yeah, live and learn, man.
That's just it, man. The good thing about crypto is there's always another opportunity.
Those are pretty big. About 2 weeks ago, they were pumping pretty hot for a couple days. I remember they're up like 30-35% for a coin of that size. Is pretty impressed with the pullback a little bit since then. I don't think it was anything like announcement driven. They just got hot about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, how high did it get to? I remember that. It got up to 30 cents maybe? Yeah, it got up to 30 cents, back down to just under 24, so there you go. Still 68% down from all-time highs too. So it's not like it's, gone just yet. Still could be an interesting little, 2-3x play. I like it.
I have just one subject I want your opinion about, really.
Sure.
Like a few days back, now they are saying why the U.S. government is pushing toward the crypto market, because somehow they want to like wash out all their debts and by flipping it to crypto or something like that. So it's like maybe in the near future that crypto will get a very big hit, because literally they are just writing off their debts with crypto. So they are doing that, and what exactly they're talking about, and yeah.
I think they're going to do it through stablecoins, and I think there's some merit to it. I mean, look what Tether's already doing. They're already buying short-term treasuries, which is U.S. debt. That's how that's literally Tether's business model. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy, but I think it could proliferate with the stablecoin. And this is why I think, Ahmed, that they were so focused on the Genius Act first and foremost. That's my hot take of the day.
I know, but the problem is that, like, you know how much the debt? It's like $1 billion or something like that. So if that happen, it will be like catastrophic effect on crypto. You got the idea? So it's like,
how so? What do you mean?
I don't know. It will. So who will be affected exactly? I'm saying that if they did that with the stable coins and everything, the crypto market will be shaken a lot or not? Like it will be affected badly or not? Or how you can anticipate the effect of it?
I think he's thinking that the government will sell that to pay that debt, but that's not what. I mean, that could happen some, but that's not really what the idea is. The idea is to back these stables with U.S. Treasuries, and by these companies like Tether buying those treasuries, that's essentially paying off that debt. So the debt becomes
Becomes other people's problem.
Becomes acquired by somebody else. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, but the idea that these companies, if they are like invested heavily in crypto, this is the effect will be, it's like the domino effect that they will sell maybe some stable coins or Bitcoin or whatever to reimburse their losses. And then, you know what will happen? It's like a crazy bad effect wave in the market. So this is what I'm saying.
But think about this. Think about this. If there's $37 trillion in U.S. debt and the crypto market absorbs, let's just say, I don't know, let's say half of that. What is the crypto market cap now?
I didn't today.
No, what is the total crypto market cap if it absorbs half of the United States debt?
It should be going to zero, I think.
Huh?
Wait a minute. Let me get you the exact information. Just a minute.
Do you see what I'm saying, Zach?
Yeah, I know. So because you're saying maybe they can absorb it somehow.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying, Zach? Does it even make sense?
No, I'm with you. I mean, it's basically just being absorbed and not like accounted for from the U.S. debt perspective. It's just somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 4 trillion now.
The global
Right.
market cap of crypto, yeah.
Yeah, 4 trillion. But even though that, this is a big hit, a huge hit. This is what I'm saying, guys. Maybe like we literally start from zero. And somehow.
No, the worthless fiat that we spend to buy things and pay things, that worthlessness is absorbed into crypto. In other words, if $37 trillion in U.S. debt is moved on chain into U.S. Treasury and everything like that via these stable coin companies, they're buying that debt, which is increasing their market cap, which should increase the total market cap of crypto, which would mean 37 divided by 2. You guys, I'm not great at math, but I think that's around like 18, maybe 17, 18 trillion dollars. So add that to the 4 trillion that we already have is kind of what I'm getting at, potentially. Could be, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe that is what could happen.
Hey, Clifford, this is Calvin J checking in. Good morning to you, friend, and everybody here on the Crypto Breakfast Club. I only wanted to just say this and probably just step down because I like listening to you all in the morning, enjoying my coffee. Let's take crypto aside for a second. Let's just say we're all business owners, right? We're all independent, right? If you are an individual, you have a business, your business may have the debt, and then you may sell that debt collectors, right? Where I'm getting at here is they're looping the debt. Take the debt, buy assets with their holding company. The holding company has these assets purchased by debt. Use it as collateral, take out a loan that is not taxable, buy more debt, and do it again, and again, and again, and again. Zach
Just
laughing, but
keep kicking the can, baby.
I just wanted to put that in the air. Don't get me wrong now. Play the game with the best of them. Take your assets, everyone, and utilize these protocols. Definitely can utilize your stable coins also to preserve some capital. Load up the artillery and be ready to buy those dips. But yeah, debt is the key word of the day. And I wanted to just say shout out to Clifford for emphasizing that. Like the dollar is devaluing at a high rate, and then they got variations of the dollar. So utilize your debt wisely, and appreciate you all just coming through every day, being present every day.
Well, I want to say that, but I will not get into it in details because this space is recorded. But I'm gonna say, let's say most of the US debt, it's like made up debt. You know what I mean? It's made up 100%. It's like, I don't know how they allow it, but this is the fact for me.
Well, it's a little easier when you can print money out of thin air.
Well, it's not about that. The problem is the debt is becoming bigger and bigger because when they do that, literally, it's not the government who's printing. That's the problem. You got me? If the government itself was printing money, believe me, the issues will be less, at least 50% less. But the problem is that it's being printed by an entity. The name of it is showing like it's a governmental entity, but it's not. And you know what? They are charging you and putting debt on you for this thin air printed money, which is literally cost them nothing, and you are using this money and paying like profit on it for them. So it's like it's weird how they build it and how they get along with it. It's like I cannot even comprehend.
Yeah, real quick, we can keep this conversation going. I'll get to Mutasco; he's got his hand up. But somebody asked on the YouTube side, do institutions have to go through the open market to buy XRP? So I did want to get to that question. Thanks, Buzz, for the super chat over on YouTube too. We'll say this: if the institutions that Ripple's working with is using their payment solution, then they oftentimes do buy on the open market, but they don't have to. There are some other ways around it as well. But I think that door is going to unlock, obviously, even more with ETFs, right? That are probably coming down the pike. But yeah, that's the short answer there. So like a lot of times, liquidity partners can also, purchase kind of in the back doorway. But most of the time, we'll say yes, XRP is bought on the open market. Mutasco, what's going on?
No, I was going to comment on one, Ahmed. And Ahmed, I'm so sorry if you read my earlier message. I was a little busy, so I couldn't respond. I wasn't directly responding to you as like glazing. I wasn't defending CZ or in any way. Generally, it came from just the general view. So just clarifying that. I do just like innovation. That's all it is. I don't get tied to individuals, to be honest. I'm not that kind of person. So I hope that made sense there. I've dug in a lot about US and companies. It's nasty. Okay. I remember there's actually a good documentary. It's called The Man That Built America. When you watch that documentary, it talks about the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, and JP Morgan, and all that stuff. It's just a new version today. So it's cutthroat. You can't make it to the top easily. You have to drag yourself in blood sometimes, unfortunately. So there will never be a perfect person. I can guarantee you that. But to the point of the let me explain this real quickly. Somebody asked Michael Saylor, and I think he put it really well. And if you guys remember, Michael Saylor did a presentation about this whole debt, right? And I think the Russian, I think he's a senior advisor to Vladimir Putin, who said what he said about the debt being swapped and then devaluing currency. The way I would say this is, I think Saylor put it in three buckets. He said there's three types of credit. You have the fiat-backed credit, which is, it has all kinds of fingers, like the New York, they call it finger lakes, right? So the fiat credit has fingers. And the fingers is if you just draw up the bond market chart, right? On one side and then the other side. I think I spoke about this the other day. The short-term duration, they call them short-term bills, right? And then you go to the middle, there's short-term notes, or they call them notes, treasury notes. And the notes are like 10 years and above, right? And then you go to the long end of it, and it's mortgages and student loans. So the debt, when we talk about the debt, the categorization is important, right? Because this is something like somebody buys a home, they're going to pay it off when they're 75 or 65, depending on when they bought the phone. Or they could, resell it and then refinance it, and then the debt keeps restarting, all that crap, right? And then you go to, so that's the fiat-backed credit. Now, there's the other credit, which is, they call it the mortgage-backed credit. That entire market is massive, even in the US, right? If you go on the other side, he talks about corporate backed credit. So, like Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, name them. All these companies, they have corporate debt, right? Or they call them corporate bonds, right? Let's say they want to fund a new infrastructure project. They issue a bond. It could be whatever the duration is, and then they get a yield. And so it's like I call it. Usually, people call people who are in the anonymous side of the spaces as a grease trap. I think the fiat itself, dollar itself, is a trap, right? And to destabilize it, the only way you can do that is what the Russian guy said, where he said they're just gonna swap it into crypto and they're gonna devalue the dollar. Well, he's partially right about that, because if this is the direction we're gonna go, that means that we're probably gonna print more money. And the more money that is printed, the more that if you're somebody who's just reliant on fiat, you're getting wrecked. Okay. Now, if the dollar is getting wrecked, I don't know what anybody that is holding Zimbabwean currency or Argentinian currency or Brazil will tell you. They just say they're like wrecked squared. Okay, that's what would happen. They will be wrecked squared. So I think he's right, because if the only way to get out of this debt is to print our way out of it, the effect of it is inflation. And I think there's a famous quote by Milton Friedman. He talks about, he did an analogy that inflation is like alcohol, right? It's sweet to take it now, but the pain comes in later. I'm just paraphrasing it, but he kind of put it that way, right? I think this is how we.
We're losing you, Mutaska. We're losing you. Mutaska, we're losing you. No, it's coming in and out real bad.
Yeah.
Gotta recalibrate him, Zach.
That did sound like AI.
Well, but regarding what he said, look, my background is business economics. Okay, I know for a fact, this is a fact. This is not analysis. You can research it or whatever. You need to understand that banks, the banking system as a whole, is literally a leakage for the economic cycle. So literally, it's a parasite on the economy, on economic cycle. So because they are literally selling cash. This is the whole concept of business. So it's like a very bad. Look, the whole concept of economy is that there's a big cash circulate among all type of markets. The banks, what they are doing is just like taking this cash for themselves. They are not contributing on that in that cash cycle. So the biggest issue with USA that they rely a lot on the banking system. That every business, not let's say every business, let's say most of the businesses, even the businesses that financially good, even Apple itself is still take money from banks because it's like cheaper for them. They are keeping their cash. If they want to acquire another company, they will literally get a loan from a bank because they can get it with a magnificent rate. So it's like financially, it's like much better to do it. But as a whole, this is causing inflation, and inflation itself as a concept, it's a made up thing. Literally now, like it's not because now people, these banks are making that inflation. It's not related to the demand and the market situation. So this is the issue that it's being done, and obviously by these entities And the problem is that who's making the decision are not fighting them at all. And you need to understand something. These banks now, they are like an atomic bomb, because literally they are lending more than they can even cover. So for example, most of them literally, like for example, if a bank is lending 100 billion, by law he only have to cover his capital will be like maybe 10 million only, or less even. So you need to understand this is how dangerous the situation is, you know. So yes, I advise you, if you made some money in crypto or anywhere else, have tangible assets, gold, silver, a land, a farm, whatever, you know. And the last thing I want to say, the taxation system is stealing. And even if it was, yeah, we are having cash as a government, we want to spend it, it's shrinking the economy. And you know what? I believe maybe in Reagan term or something, they literally lower the taxes, and you know what? They get more by collecting taxes. So yeah, put that in your mind. Thank you.
No, man, you stole the words right out of my mouth, Ahmed. I was just gonna say that, yeah, that luckily for us, we don't have to rely solely on fiat currency. We have other options. We've got Bitcoin. We've got other finite or commodity based tokens and projects. We've got silver. We've got gold. We've got real estate, like you mentioned, a farm. We even have different things on that farm that we could acquire, such as cattle, poultry, all sorts of different things that can preserve our wealth once we create it, right? Unless you already have that wealth, and you can utilize some of that stuff. But I think Matasko nailed it, and probably what they're going to do is try to print their way out of this thing, which is going to further dilute it, which is going to raise inflation. But the way you can protect yourself is through these types of things. Even artwork or antiques, a lot of people find value in that kind of stuff too. So diversification across many different genres or categories is what's going to protect you. And I'm certainly going to try to protect myself and my family that way, just because, 20 years from now, what's it going to look like? I know 20 years from now, there's still going to be only 21 million Bitcoin. So, yeah, it's that important.
This is my kind of topic, guys. If this is going over people's heads, I will encourage you to go to stablewatch.io. It's not the only website, by the way, but you just go Google that website, stablewatch.io, specifically to what we're talking about. You literally see, I'm sure some of you have seen, M2 money supply is going up. Bitcoin is going to go up. Well, if you go on StableWatch, they actually have specific research papers that are attached to just explaining inflation. This is why I love crypto, because if you don't understand crypto, I'm telling you, you're going to get wrecked. The reason I'm saying that is, in crypto, I think Ahmed made a point about the banks and the misconception about inflation. There are a lot of smart people out there. They can confuse you about what inflation actually is. Now, if you come to even the meme coin world, they will tell you what inflation is, okay? Think of it this way. A meme coin launches, it's 1 billion max supply, and then you look, and then you're like, oh, what's the total supply? Okay, it's 1 billion. What is the circulating supply? And there's only 200 million. Then you start asking yourself, what if the circulating supply goes up to 500 million? If I hold a token, what happens to the value of my tokens in fiat. You can literally do this with a calculator, okay? You can do the same thing with the dollar. Now, once you understand that, not a single politician will try and look at you in the face and say, well, yeah, I'm president, your beef steak is now $1 cheaper, so inflation is down, okay? That's like, it's called a scam, okay? Because a lot of people think that, and I'm saying this lightly because yeah, there's housing, there's all the stuff that we can put in the bucket. The problem with that is the government now gets to choose what they put in the bucket. So that makes it concerning, right? Because on the other hand, they're telling you that no, we're not printing, but we're printing. So the concept of inflation is you have to ask yourself, if you're two brothers and one of you has a W-2 job, right? But they also have another thing doing where they're putting money that they're getting from W-2 pay into some asset investment. And then the other brother only relies on their W-2 pay. Let's say they both have the same goal. We want to buy a house 2 years from now. You know who will be able to get closer to buying a house 2 years from now? The brother that has on top of their W-2 pay, they're putting a little bit into some appreciating asset investment. The other brother who just sits on their W-2 pay, what would happen is, it's not that they don't have the right dream. Inflation will literally stop them from achieving their goal because all they have is that W-2 pay. But what they don't have control over is how much more money Trump gets to print and the Republicans. How much more money, if Trump goes too far, guess what? The next administration will only go even farther. So the age clock will run you out, okay? And maybe you can tell your kids, good luck beating the fiat journey in your life. But the reality is inflation is just merely government spending where they print more money. That's it.
The average millennial needs $3 million to retire. Are you going to do that by saving money? When your fiat money is losing 10% of value in 2025 alone? Are you going to get ahead? Are you going to be able to retire by saving money? I literally just commented on this out of context human race post or whatever. I just put it up in the nest. And how old are you and how much do you have in savings? We need to educate people, especially our youth, that it's not about how much money you have in your savings account. Who cares? That's an archaic way of thinking. It doesn't matter. If you have $20,000 in your savings account and you don't have any real estate, you don't have any Bitcoin, you don't have any stock portfolio, you're doing it wrong. It doesn't really matter because that $20,000 isn't doing anything for you except losing money. Sure, you're storing your wealth a little bit, but to your point, you're not getting ahead. So the real question is not how much you have in your savings, it's how much Bitcoin do you have? How much real estate do you own? How many businesses do you own? Are your businesses profitable? How much do you have in stocks? How are you evaluating? Yeah.
And Zach, to your point, the beautiful thing about crypto is there is no age limit. There is no you're too old, you're too young. Literally, because of the way it's easily accessible, you can buy Bitcoin anytime. And you could literally buy Bitcoin for your kids right now. You don't need anybody's permission. People are waiting. And it's sad, but the reality is, to your point, we just don't understand what inflation is. They tell a lie too many times, people now believe it, right? Because nobody actually gets to understand between what is inflation and what is not. Because what they literally told us inflation has been a lie. So when you're here investing, a lot of people are going to say it's risky. Yeah, I get it. Well, everything is risky, right? It's almost like somebody in your home is going to tell you, yeah, life is risky. If you step out, you're going to get eaten by a lion. Well, how likely in your neighborhood, a lion is just going to pop out, right? But they would let you believe it. And that's what I think people who are not in crypto yet think this is. It's kind of sad.
And the other thing is too that people don't realize how much things have changed since COVID. In early 2020, the M2 was around 15 trillion. By the end of 2021, it was 22 trillion. Think about that. So in other words, 40% of all US dollars in circulation were created during 2020 and 2021. That is wild. So this is what needs to be talked about in an economics class in a classroom in college. This is what needs to be talked about to college students and young adults. And this is why your plan of saving for a rainy day, it doesn't work anymore. Sure, have an emergency fund or whatever, I get it. But if you're, again, sitting on $20,000 in your savings account, keep like $2,000 or $3,000 in there, just in case. Okay, if you're a young adult. Put the $17,000 to work, so you don't have to work later. Tyler, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing? I have a question, since you guys, I feel like there's someone here that knows about it, 'cause there's always good people in here. So my question is, like, with Bitcoin, I do want to buy Bitcoin. However, I feel like I want to buy it, but I want to put my money in something else, another token, for example, in order for me to, because I feel like my money might, as of right now, be better, let's say, in even like a meme coin like Dogecoin. Let's say Dogecoin. And then I take my profits and then I put it in Bitcoin. Would you say that's, I mean, I feel like, you think that's like a good thing to do? I mean, because I want to buy Bitcoin. I really, really do. Because I think Bitcoin, is 100% going nowhere. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I really do want to buy like a load of Bitcoin all at one time. So I don't know. What do you guys think about something like that? Is that like, would you say that's like a good...
Tyler, here's the way I would explain it, and this is not like the end-all be-all. This is just my take, and I'm curious to get some other people's opinions. But the way I look at this is a couple different ways. Okay, so first and foremost, what's of the utmost importance, in my mind, is create cash-generating businesses. Because it's way easier to make more money than it is to save money. You're not going to save money and get financially free. You've got to make money. And then that money you make, put it to work. And so when it comes to the crypto side of things, I tend to try to make my money in the altcoin space and store my wealth that I make there in Bitcoin, which also is going to make me money, but not at a fast, not as fast, right? But it's a store of value, it's a store of wealth, and it's going to be less volatile, and it's becoming less volatile over time. Now, how you go about that, it's very dependent on your goals. It's very dependent on your timeline, your time horizon, how much you earn. Like, there's a lot of questions there that are, you can answer, right? And we can't, and that's okay. But everybody's on a different timeline. But the key is really focus, and in my opinion, the focus should be, how can I make more money to invest that money? And I think that's the thing I think people don't give enough credence to. Like, they just say, okay, well, I've got my job, I'm earning this amount, how can I save more? And you could certainly do a bunch of things. Like, you can make sacrifices. I mean, when I made less than $50,000 a year, I didn't go out to eat. I didn't go out with my friends as much. I had chicken and rice 6 days a week. And I'm not saying this to say that you have to do it this way. I wouldn't drink Starbucks coffee. I was drinking Folgers. You know what I mean? Now I drink Starbucks coffee because I can afford it. It's like, just don't do things that you can't afford. If you can't buy that car twice, you shouldn't own it. Like, the problem is people just spend and spend and spend, and they fall into that lifestyle creep trap. And it happens to a lot of people in the United States in particular because you know, we're a consumer economy. We're the world's biggest consumers. We love to consume. We love convenience. We love, you know, anything that makes our life easier. Well, sometimes you got to make your life harder before it gets easier, and that's when it comes to sacrificing things. And so there's an element to that. You know, you gotta give something to get something in this world. But then there's also the element of, how can I create a side hustle or a side business, or, you know, generate more income in order to put that money to work. So I'm saying a lot to say that, you know, when it comes to like which one should you invest in, I think, you know, you gotta take a hard look at what are you willing to risk, how much are you risking, you know, what do your other assets look like, what's your total net worth right now, how much money are you bringing in, do you plan on bringing in more money? There's so many different ways to go about it, so it's not just like a, hey, do this, do that, and you're going to be good to go. You know what I mean? I'm spitballing a lot at you, but hopefully it kind of makes sense.
No, you're okay. And I agree with you. I think what you're saying is like 100% true. And I think, I don't know, for some reason, like what's really hard for myself is, like starting a side hustle or starting like a business. Like, I don't even know exactly what to do that's going to be like unique. You're not necessarily reinventing the wheel of something, but like becoming like unique, because you got to basically sell yourself. I think that's what I really want to do. I mean, because this job I have right now, it doesn't pay bad, but it's not gonna like, and we get bonuses if we, you know, do good. Pretty big bonuses potentially, but I don't know.
And by no way am I saying, Tyler, like get rid of that job. It's always good to have a steady income, and you know,
I agree.
If the time comes where your side hustle starts to outweigh or even match what you're making at your job, then you have a decision to make. I didn't quit my job until my side hustle at the time, becoming a full-time YouTuber, you know, basically matched my income. Because then it got to a point where, okay, I can afford to take this chance and take a leap. If I have to go back and be a professor at a university, they can't take my degree away. I'll go back and do that. It's fine, you know? But it got to a point where I've got to go chase this thing. And here's the other thing, too. Even while I was a professor, like before I found the whole YouTube thing and that actually worked, dude, I failed, man. I failed 5 times. But it's not a failure. It's not an end thing. It's just a temporary defeat. And it's not going to be the first thing oftentimes that works. You know? I mean, I tried all kind of different stuff, man. I tried to do a hot sauce business. I tried to sell online products and do drop shipping. And I learned a lot through those experiences. I made a little, you know. I didn't, you know, kill it by any means. I didn't, you know, I wasn't able to quit my job from those things. But I learned a lot. I learned a little bit along the way with all those different experiences. And, you know, I had another side hustle where I was helping people get ready for their job interviews, helping people with their cover letters and resumes. You know, I tried a bunch of different stuff, man. And my first, you know, stab at YouTube wasn't even in crypto. I was at it for a year, you know, talking about books I like to read and entrepreneurship, and nobody was watching, dude. I had 40 subscribers the first year I did YouTube. 40. But I just didn't quit, man. And I made a freaking Shiba Inu video one day that got 3,000 views. And I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I was like, well, here you go, idiot. It's time to freaking see this thing through. And the next thing you know, you do it, you show up every day. And here I am. You know, I mean, I'm not special, dude. I'm not. It's just, you just refuse to lose and keep trying stuff. You know, the thing is, too, be real with yourself. You know, be real with yourself in that, you know, take a really good mental exercise. I guess it's physical, too, because you got to write it down. Write down all the things you're good at and the things you're not good at. Write down all the things you're willing to sacrifice and not willing to sacrifice. And then you have a clear path of different things you could try. And you know that you'll try these things and not get bored with them. You know what I mean? A lot of people just jump in because it sounds good and they can make money. But if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to show up every day. You know, you're not going to show up every day and put the time and energy into something. You know, and I made these mistakes. I'm not speaking from like, you know, some man on top of the mountain here. You know,
yeah, for sure.
But I was a sports broadcaster for a real long time, and there's a lot of background noise. I don't know who that's coming from.
Sorry, that's me.
Oh, you know, the whole YouTube thing was interesting because it kind of just slapped me right in the face one day. It was like, you idiot! This is what you're good at. It's the only thing you're good at. You're good at communicating. You know, you're good at like reaching people. You're good at connecting with people. I'm not a math and science guy. I'm not like a numbers guy. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a minute. I could just go talk about things I'm learning in real time, and I'm brand new to this crypto space, but so is everybody else. And you know, by day 10, by day 20, by day 100, by day 200, I know a little bit more than the person listening to me. Never claim to have it all figured out. Still have that same mentality. And it was easy for me to just show up every day because I love it, man. I enjoy it. That's why I get up on Saturday and work a few hours, and on Sunday, and because I love it, dude. I'm not doing it because it makes me money. The money will come, man. When you do something you love to do, and you're super passionate about it, I know it sounds cliche as hell. The money will follow, man. If that's your number one motivation, money will be very fleeting. It will come and it will go. But if money's like, you know, just something that happens as a byproduct of just doing what you love to do, I mean, that's when it happens, man. That's when it happens. Okay, rant over.
No, that was really good. That was really good. I mean, I agree. Like, I really love crypto. Like, you're like, I don't know. Maybe I was one of those 3,000 followers because dude, I've been following you probably since I started doing crypto. I've been following you since. Like,
I know you've been around for a long time, and honestly, Tyler, I just want to tell you I appreciate you, man. You're always here and like always like engaged and learning, and honestly like adding to our conversations now. So I love it, man. Seriously,
yeah,
I appreciate you.
Well, yeah, no, you're welcome, man. I appreciate it as well.
My bad. I didn't mean to ruin your train of thought.
Oh, you're good. It's all good. I'm done, basically. So, but no, that's some good insight, and I agree with you on basically everything. So, yeah.
SPX, what's up, man?
Hey guys. Good morning, Zach. That was awesome. Couldn't agree more. You know, just from my perspective, and not to get all boomer on people, and I don't want to tell people what they should aim for or strive for, but I think, you know, and everyone's situation is different, but just adding to that, you know, from my perspective, you have to learn how to walk before you can run. For anyone out there, like, if you're having dreams of like mansions and Lambos, but your financial house is not in order, I think that is just unrealistic. For all those who, you know, fantasize about having those things, cool, fantasize and strive for that, but you have to get your financial house in order. And a lot of people are massively in debt. They spend money on stupid shit. They again, not everyone, but they spend, you know, a lot of people spend their money on stupid shit. They don't get their house in order. So, you know, from my perspective, pay off all the debts you can that are feasible. Get rid of consumer debt. Again, I don't want to get all boomer, but you know, getting your financial house in order is a major step to getting to financial freedom. Once you do that, do whatever you can to either get a whole Bitcoin or get your first $100,000. Because I truly believe it is much easier to go from 1 million to $10 million in net worth than it is to go from 0 to 1 million. It's just the velocity of money works that way. So, you know, Tyler, I kind of jumped in late to the spaces, but I didn't hear everything you said before. But, you know, just focus on getting that first Bitcoin if you don't already have it. As far as side hustles, you know, I've been in other spaces where smart people are door dashing just to make a little bit extra income and getting Bitcoin with that. So you could do that. You could up your skill set. There's a concept out there. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I know a lot of people who've done very well doing something called overemployment. Look into that. That could be a viable option. But there are so many ways out there to make money. But the first step is get your financial house in order. Do whatever you can to get that first Bitcoin if you don't already have it. And I'm not just talking to you specifically, Tyler. I'm talking to anyone. Once you have that, you can start snowballing that wealth effect and really, really accelerating the velocity of your money. So, just my perspective. So, for me, it took me personally 15 years to get a net worth of $0, meaning that I had to work 15 years just to pay off my student loans. It was kind of pathetic, but and look, I made a lot of mistakes, and I bought a lot of stupid shit in my youth. But you know, everyone learns from experience. But for anyone out there, get your first $100,000 if you don't have it. Once you have that, I think you can start really exploring the velocity of your money and really building wealth. Again, easier said than done, but you'd be surprised if you have a focused mentality on getting rid of bad debt and saving that first $100,000 and getting your first Bitcoin or getting your first Bitcoin, your life could change. So just my perspective.
I want to say just I'm gonna go down for a bit because I'm busy a little bit. And Mutasco, whatever you say, no need to explain yourself. I know you are just trying to be logic. Thank you all for this amazing space. Goodbye.
Appreciate you, Ahmed. Thanks for coming up. And SPX, thanks, man. Great insights. Love that you're, sharing the vulnerabilities too. I think that everybody can glean from that, man. Everybody's got a story to tell, and I think, it wraps into this whole crypto thing, man. Because at the end of the day, we're in crypto to what? We're in crypto to better ourselves, and in a way, I mean, being a crypto investor, we are all entrepreneurs, right? I mean, think about it. We are all entrepreneurs, like in some form or fashion. Just that alone. And I love hearing other people's stories and learning from that, man. So appreciate you coming up and sharing that.
My pleasure. Thank you for letting me speak.
Always. Yeah. Mutasco, go ahead, man.
No, I posted, usually I like these topics because this is kind of my mental whatever, but I posted a few things. I think SPX made a point, and that point had to do with the debt. And then the other part of this is, and if you're in these cycles, I think one of the most important thing that I have had to learn a hard way is that if you're telling somebody to buy Bitcoin, be mindful of the timing you're telling them to buy Bitcoin. And the reason I'm saying this is there was a time I was in a space in 2021. As this guy, he doesn't come on space anymore. He's like a Wall Street veteran. I forgot his name. He was heavy in the Bitcoin community. And he got really attacked in 2022 so severely, it was insane. And it was all because this guy came up and said that, this guy is super smart, right? Very, very technical, financial expertise. Whatever. But I remember the guy saying that he was blaming the guy, and you guys know what happened to Bitcoin in 2022, right? And he said, you made this analysis. It was so intelligent that I had to present it to my dad, who was 67, and he bought the top. He bought Bitcoin at 68,000, 67,000. And bear in mind, guys, when we're talking about this, Bitcoin was trading at like 20,000, 25 from the 15K low. And I get it, it's more frustration, but it goes back to what I always say. Don't just listen to people, try to do some research yourself. And don't blame people first, maybe look to yourself. And the reason I'm saying this is, me personally, Bitcoin dominance has been dropping a little bit, right? Now, the point you don't want to be gobbling money into it is when the dominance is this high. The other part to note is you have to understand the cycles. At some point, there will be a drop in this price. I don't know how low. Just go look up the Pi cycle, the Bitcoin power law. They have all kinds of, these are all kind of calculations, right? They may not be perfect, but they can kind of give you a baseline. But you could also put money, in fact, your job is actually a hack. The problem with people complaining about their jobs is that who doesn't like some yo-yo guy giving you money every day just to show up, right? The question is what you use the money for. The unfortunate part of the reality is most of people that earn income, a large percentage of it goes into paying debt. Mostly if you have a home, a lot of it goes towards that. So it's not that you hate your job, it's just you don't get to keep most of the money. The question then becomes, how do you use speed? And I think I posted a few things. I would encourage you guys to go listen to it. There's this finance professor, Todd Smith, and what he said if the debasement is growing at 8 to 10%, and the S&P only gives you 9 to whatever percent, that means you're just break even. That is even if you're trying to hedge against inflation by buying into the S&P, and the S&P returns 9% a year, you have to literally outpace the printing just to get by, right? So understanding these mechanics actually help. It just gets a little confusing when you hear it, you don't think that it affects you directly, but it does. But please go listen to what he said there. It kind of wraps up what we talked about earlier about inflation, printing of money, and how that affects you. But you want to be able to get a hack of a job that would generate you some income. And I've given some examples here where, let's say you have money that is trapped, right? No, somebody else is managing it. But bear in mind, there's a fee for managing the money. If you can get access to it, you could put it in a dividend-paying stock. And that money will literally be a ghost of yourself, right? You don't have to necessarily go to work for a company. But again, these things need some research, right? Sometimes you don't also need to just like start walking or running. You have to crawl a little bit. And if it has to take you this whole cycle to learn these things, don't rush it. Take your time, go through this, and maybe the time you will start to go beyond 100K for the first time, maybe next cycle. Don't rush it. If you're somewhere below to a certain level where you can't, don't try to like skip the line. But I would say this, I've posted some information. I've also said if you don't understand what this inflation printing is, go to stablewatch.io, look up that, read some of their research papers. You understand some things about money printing. Go ahead, Todd. Dr. Tab.
Yeah, thank you very much. GM, everyone. GM, Zach, GM, Pasco, GM, XPX. Everyone in the space. It's a lovely day here and a beautiful weather for me. All right. I start taking off. Major altcoins ready to go. Guys, I think the last time when we analyzed, we talked about some major shifts and all that. The truth here is that Bitcoin currently is changing again. It's changing its format. And if you watch what it did, I think 2 days ago, it's kind of true altcoins off balance. The long positions on altcoin that were all set to move to the moon, Bitcoin broke them off. All right, it's very important. I mean, it's very important that we pay close attention to that. Now, if you take a careful look at Bitcoin, I think I made a video analysis yesterday, a day before yesterday on BTC yesterday. If you take a careful look at the monthly now on what we are seeing on Bitcoin, Bitcoin looking like it wants to respect the August shooting star candle which it created. All right, why am I saying this? If you look at the weekly, Bitcoin created a weekly double top, all right, and it broke out of that double top. Now, we are now seeing that this upward move Bitcoin made with those good volume was basically a retest. Why am I saying this? If you go to the daily, if you pay attention to the daily time frame, the Bitcoin has broken out of the bullish trend line on that daily movement from on the I think on the 9th of on the 9th, sorry, on the 1st of September. That upward trend it created for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, almost 19 days of an upward trend. Bitcoin has broken out of that uptrend. If again, Bitcoin created what we call a kind of micro double top upon this formation, and that can also say that we again retested the double top we created when Bitcoin created a highs of 122 and 124 respectively. We can call this a potential retest of it. And should Bitcoin now, we are trying to what? Now going to retest this micro double bottom we created for about 6 to 7 days ago. If Bitcoin now break again out of this bull trend we started today, because we have been on the downtrend for almost I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Now we started creating a green candle today on the daily time frame. Now Bitcoin, if Bitcoin now break out of this daily, it will only mean one thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is heading to $99,000. All right, what am I saying? So when you do your field retracement from the highs of 124 to the lows of 74K on a monthly, the buyer's level interest is at that level of 99.98, and that's where there's another strong support around that zone again. So we should pay attention. And these bullish altcoins vibe we are seeing right now, Bitcoin might crumble all of them because of each share dominance we are seeing right now. We can see, me personally, I told myself that I'm going to stop trading altcoins on futures and focus basically on BTC, because at the end of the day, you discover that Bitcoin is the king, and whenever it's going to look, it's going to destroy all the. Imagine, Ethereum created a bullish vibes on the daily, on the monthly, weekly, daily. However, when it went to do that move, it destroyed all the setups that Ethereum did. So this goes to tell people to be very careful on how they trade this altcoin, because Bitcoin, for now, dominates everything. So that's why I'm saying that for now, I think there will still be a huge buying opportunity to the downside with what Bitcoin is doing. If we break out of this recent upward trend we are starting today, and I expected it. And if you check my video I made it yesterday, you wish where I pointed that Bitcoin is possibly going to do a retest of that yesterday breakout of that bull trend. I'm sorry, I'm choking. All right, thank you.
Hey guys, sorry, can I just add some? Can I just add?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Thanks. Just something to I want to add to Mustako and Dr. Tat. Thank you for that. That was a great share. When I say, when I advise people, get your first Bitcoin, I'm going under the assumption that a lot of people are going under, again, not that I say it's financial advice, is that Bitcoin on average will appreciate at around 25 to 30% yearly. And the reason I bring that up is that if you obtain your first Bitcoin and you just hold it, your long-term financial future, again, not financial advice, should be healthy. And upon retirement, if you buy, especially if you're young and you use compounding interest to your benefit, you can retire very nicely. With that said, it is not your employer's responsibility to ensure that you have a great retirement or have any money at all. So I think from that standpoint, you have to use your employer to just set yourself up for a decent retirement by, again, saving your first 100,000 and then setting up your financial house so that you can have a decent retirement. Once that's set up, then you can start going for the bigger gains and trying to accelerate your retirement and maybe retiring early. But I just wanted to add that my suggestion, again, not financial advice, of buying a Bitcoin is operating under the assumption that it will appreciate at a 25 to 30% return per year. And again, if you're young and you use compounding interest to your benefit, the 25-30% return per year, especially on a six-figure sum, upon retirement, you can have an amazing retirement. So again, just my perspective. Nothing I say is financial advice.
Beautiful. Love it. Love the breakdown. Love the space today in general. So really, really appreciate everybody for being here. And we will be back tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and close up shop for the day. But we'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Just a couple housekeeping things real quick. Just to kind of be aware of, Jerome Powell does take the stage here at 12:35. We'll see what comes out of that. Maybe get some volatility in the market depending on what he says. So he's going to be talking about the economy here in a little bit. So we'll be locked into that. We've got Paid, our co-host, out in South Korea right now for Korea Blockchain Week. Anything he reports back to me, I'll be posting probably in the Crypto Breakfast Club Telegram over there. So make sure you guys hop into that. Follow the Crypto Breakfast Club main account. And then also, just a quick plug for my Inner Circle, which is my private community. It's 90 cents a day to join, and you'll get full portfolio access of mine, the moves that I make in the market, buys, sells, trades, and tons of great alpha in terms of undervalued crypto picks based on our customized algorithms, and just a great spot to enjoy some alpha behind closed doors. Again, that is linked down below in the description of my YouTube video. You can find it on my X page as well, and just been really trying to push that out there. So become an Inner Circle member if that's something that interests you, and appreciate you guys so much. And we'll see you guys right back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Take care.